We
Too
are
much in a
all
week.
busy.
Must be 200.
DJ, if we can stop the beat, thank you so much, guys. Welcome to the call. Real quick, guys, just a little bit about me. My name is Skylar Cowden, Coach Cowden, born and raised in Indiana. And just like you guys, I hopped on an opportunity just like this back in 2017 is when I first got introduced into trading. And it was something that literally was mind-blowing for myself. And I know a lot of you, hopping on this call, you might know a little bit about trading, you might know nothing about trading, but somebody that you guys maybe seen on social media, a friend, a family member, or something like that, invited you guys to this call. So first and foremost, I want you guys to drop a thank you in the chat because something like this years and years ago has absolutely put me in a position to change my life. Obviously past profits don't guarantee future results, but it retired me from a 9 to 5. It put me in a position to be able to be a father every single day in my daughter's life. It put me in a position to meet my wife, retire my mom, move states, travel the world, right? Like trading actually did that for me, guys. And so I'm blessed. I'm honored to be in a position to be able to talk to you guys, what put me in a position to change my life. And hopefully we can do the same thing for you guys. So put a thank you in the chat for the person that invited you to this call. And make sure if you're ready to get started after the end of this, get back with that person and let them know that I'm all in. All right. So, guys, talking about trading, this is what confused me when I first seen this. So, I'm just going to bring it up and we're going to get it out of the way. And that was the charts, right? Drop a one in the chat if you guys can see my charts. If you can see this, what looks to be like a heartbeat monitor, it's not, I promise. And if it flat lines, nobody's dying. But this is a chart, okay? And when it comes to the trading space, we got to think of assets, right? Anything can be an asset, whether it be a car, whether it be a stock, whether it be the foreign exchange, gold, metals, things like that, right? Everything that has any type of asset value has a chart with it. And a lot of the times, right, it's like, guys and traders, stay out of the chat for me if you can. I want the new people talking, right? So, like, would you tell me that if you would rather buy, let's say, a Rolls Royce, would you like to buy the Rolls Royce up here or would you like to buy the Rolls Royce up here? What do you think the selling value is going to be do you think it's going to be worth more money if I bought it down here? Or do you think it's going to be worth more money if I bought it up here? Something, can I get some to the left? To the left, what are we doing to the left? To the left, that's where I should buy down here. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, guys. So this is a chart. This is what we're getting introduced to in the trading space. But obviously, like if you're anything like myself, I wasn't taught stuff this in school. Nobody brought up a chart. The only type of charts that we ever got was maybe in geography class when we looked at patterns and things like that, right? But I never got taught the financial side of things. I never got taught how to write a check, balance a checkbook, what my savings account was, what my checking account was, or specifically how the 1% made money in the world, right? We see people like Warren Buffett and Elon Musk and Donald Trump and things like that making all this money, and we have no rhyme or reason to know how they do that. And it's simply looking at something like this. When is price high? When is price low? And what we have to learn as a trader is when do we buy and when do we sell, right? So obviously, if I bought my Rolls Royce down here, do you think it would be valuable for me to sell it up here, guys? Drop a one in the chat if you think it'd be valuable for me to sell it up here. Would I make some money from that? Got a one, we got a one, we got a one. Okay. Okay. So I would probably make money from that. Okay. Now that is a chart. It looks a little bit confusing and understanding, okay, when to buy and when to sell is obviously the hard part. But what I got introduced to back in 2019, guys, and it was fundamentally the one thing that absolutely changed my life is I got professionally pointed to a platform that was full of education and educators that put me in a position to be what I like to call a copycat, right? Somebody told me a long time ago if I was going to be a copycat, I had to copy the right cats. And that was something that they pointed me into the position to being able to do was by going to a platform, which I'm getting ready to show you guys, that put me in a position to start learning these charts, understanding these charts, and when to know when should I buy and when should I sell, right? Now, when I started, guys, it was kind of more of like a beeper phase. We didn't have the technology that we had nowadays, right? Like I kind of felt like my trade alerts came through on a beeper side of things. Now we got tech, we got apps, we got AI, right? Type one in the chat if you think AI is taking over. Or actually, let's type a two. We already got a bunch of ones in there. You think AI is taking over? Okay, okay. So let me share screen here, guys. And I want to talk about just a couple different things. Give me a three in the chat if you guys can see my screen. You guys can see my screen. Cool. So one thing that when I first got in, when I to becoming an adult, right, and opening up my own bank account and things like that, and I went and did the 9 to 5 job. I'm not knocking the 9 to 5 job, guys. I started out thinking that, $60,000 to $70,000 a year as a cable guy was going to support my family until I figured out when I was having a daughter and I realized that working 120 hours a week wasn't going to put me in a position to be the father that I wanted to be, which was being present. Right. But when I started that job, the company did a stock match and they talked about a 401k and they told me that pretty much I was going to be able to retire when I was like 70 years of age. And that also I should start like a high yield savings account. And what I got pulled up here, guys, is just, one of the major banks out there. It's a global bank for the most part, right? Chase. And we got Premier Savings sitting up here. And we're looking at these percentages that we can do with our money. Now let's type a four in a chat if you guys have 250,000 to $500,000 to drop in a savings account where we can get 0.02% interest on. Do you think that's enough money on the 0.02% interest for us to, be able to quit our job and retire from? I don't freaking think so, right? I don't freaking think so. And so when I got to see the trading space coming from the job force and realizing that one, I'm working 120 plus hours a week. I'm literally hanging from power lines. I don't suggest it. Don't try that at home, kids. In crawl spaces, things like that, installing people's Wi-Fi to come and realize that other people were making money from what I was installing in their house. And they were doing it with way less work. And so when I first seen trading and I got to see the percentages that people were making inside of the trading space, I was like, why am I giving my bank my money? Because what silly and what comes to find out is literally when I was putting my money in the savings account, what do you think these people are doing with our money? They're trading it. Why do you think they're giving us a percentage? Well, because they're utilizing our money to put in somebody else's hands to trade our money so that they can make a percentage of that. And they're like, oh, well, here's a cookie. Here's a cookie. Here's a cookie. When they're taking, banks are the majority of our liquidity and our income right now. And so it's like if the bank's making that type of money and I'm only getting chump change, I'm getting pennies to the thousands. Why can't you put me in control of my money and let me be able to trade my own money and make the percentages that you guys are making today? And that's what one of my very first mentors showed me. And so drop a three in the chat if you guys can see a little bit of the Go AI information here. I just want to kind of hit some key points that we're going to go over tonight. Um, Obviously, guys, AI, we already said that we think AI is taking over the world. I'm not against AI. I think it's something that's a cushion that can actually put us in a position to help us, right? When we look at the markets or we look at social media right now, we see influencers out there, we see TikTok creators and all this stuff. I got 16-year-olds making millions of dollars from making TikToks and YouTube videos and things like that. AI is something that's putting those people in a position to do more, have more, and become more every single day. So we're looking at the content creators, we're looking at AI. They're both mainstream, but also what's becoming more and more known every single day. And I think since about 2014, 2012 is really when the boom of trading really started to become apparent online. We've seen Bitcoin arise, and we got to see a bunch of influencers out there talking about which meme coin they were getting into and things like that. Like, drop a four in the chat if you guys have ever seen some TikTok video talking about you should buy the next Trump coin or something like that, right? Like, so we're seeing all this trading stuff coming out there. And so we look at these top three things that are making people money: influencers, AI, and trading. And so Go AI, to me, when I got to see the position of this platform, it was mind blowing because right now we have all three right in the space. Because I'm sure, drop a five in the chat if you guys seen somebody's story or Instagram post or something like that. And that's why you're on the call today, right? That's something of influence. And so because of the power of those three things, this platform's put that all together. And so what we're going to talk about tonight, guys, is we're going to talk about the digital finance innovation, educational content, automation and data intelligence, and so much, much more. And so I know that we're all busy here, so I'll shut up and I'll actually go into the platform. And so where this platform starts, guys, is there was three things that I needed, right? One, I needed to learn, and I needed a place to be able to understand with all the different fake gurus out there on YouTube University and things like that. Like, they were talking about all these different tools that I needed for trading and stuff. I needed a one-stop drop and shop for me to be able to have it all together, because it's already confusing from the start of it. We've seen the chart, right? And we don't really know what we're doing with that. So I needed a place to be able to have everything in one individual space. So I knew that I wasn't going to like get ADHD brain and get lost in the sauce, right? And so first and foremost, I want to jump into the learning, because most of us, like I said, we probably don't even know anything about trading. What is trading? What is Forex? What is stocks? What is crypto, right? And so Go AI has put together with over 12 different educators, and I think 13 different languages right now. That's not AI generated content. It's real people with real results teaching us real things, okay? And so we have an educational platform that literally takes us through the beginner section. What is Forex? To the beginner, to the intermediate, to the advanced, to then teaching us strategies and much, much more. And not only do we get to go through these videos, this wasn't my favorite part. I wasn't a big test taker, but when it was something that I was excited about, I was cool with getting quizzed on it because it was going to make me money. And I wanted to make sure that I was going to make the most of it, right? And so when I was going through these educational series and things like that, to know that as I go through these courses, I want to make sure that I'm retaining the information. They're not only putting us in a position to watch these videos and learn, they're also making sure that we retain the information with giving us quizzes, giving us certificates so that you can print them out and show to mom that you're excited about it, things like that, right? So I like the fact that we have the quizzes inside of the education, and it's really structured, because I know, I'm doing all kinds of numbers here. Drop a 7 in the chat if you guys have ever went to YouTube to figure something out, right? I've went to YouTube to figure out how to take a light bulb out of a car, to figuring out how to put a freaking dollhouse together for my daughter, to all kinds of things. Like, it literally is a beautiful platform. But when it comes to the trading space, if you just go in there and type in trading, you're going to get overloaded with information. You're going to get confused, scared, and you're probably going to give up, because every next guru's got something better to say than the other person, right? Oh, this trading strategy is better than this one. And oh, trading this asset's better than this one, and things like that. Because I was that person. I was that person that when I first got started in trading, before coming to a platform like this that had structured education for me to actually go through and grow through, I was somebody that went to YouTube and I got lost in the sauce and I got confused, and it just was not helpful. And so what's beautiful about the educational platform here is it's structured education. I'm not going to watch something before I need to know something, right? And so I'm only going to watch the tailored information as it needs to be learned. So that way I'm progressing through the education. And I think that's just one of the most beautiful things that they've put on this platform for us. And then not to mention the fact that we have access to the quizzes. Now, if you guys are like me, I'm somebody that, fortunately, but unfortunately at the same time dropped out in the ninth grade. I was put in a position that I wanted to be able to help take care of my mom. She was a hairstylist. And I figured that I was going to make more money at Wendy's than I was sitting behind the books learning about Christopher Columbus and nothing else, right? So, like, I dropped out of school. I wasn't a good test taker. And so things like that to me were intimidating. But one thing that I was really good at, and like I said at the beginning of the call, a mentor a long time ago told me that if I was going to be a copycat, make sure I copied the right cats. And so I was a hands-on learner. One beautiful thing that I think about this educational service is that not only do we have the tailored to education, but we actually have access to over 15 live educators that go live through all different times throughout the day. That puts us in a position to, one, have no excuses, right? I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the foreign exchange market is actually open 23 hours a day, 5 days a week. Okay. Tell me right now, drop an 8 in the chat if you have at least 1 hour a day where you can put yourself in a position, instead of watching Netflix and seeing what the new Outer Banks series just put out. I'm not saying don't watch it, it was a good show, but instead of watching that show, you can hop on for at least 1 hour a day and watch somebody else live, mark up the charts, and potentially put you in a position to call a trade, and you just to be able to hit a button that says either buy or sell. Is that sounding simple, guys? Type simple in the chat if that's sounding simple. Simp. Okay, we got some simps in the chat. All right, all right. I like it. I don't know where your mind's going on this one. But yeah, so what really put me in a position to really understand trading was not the fact that I had educational videos. Like, it helped, especially when I would get off of these calls and I didn't have an understanding of like what they said. Maybe they mentioned something like market structure. I was able to go back through the education and figure out, oh, hey, here's a video on market structure. Wonder what this is, and get more details of what that trader was saying. But also on that call, it gave me the opportunity to every single day hop on these opportunity calls and watch them mark up the charts, find a live asset that they were trading, me find that on my iPhone right here, find the same ticker name, and hit the same button they were hitting. And when they closed the trade, I was able to close the trade. I think that's some simp stuff right there. Like that to me is really easy, right? And so we have access Monday through Thursday and some days on Sundays where we have access to being able to hop on these live calls with these educators and actually be able to trade along with them, ask questions in the chat, and be a part of the community too, because we're not the only ones on that call watching and stuff like that. And so not to mention, as we're going through that, maybe we were on a really, really good live call where, Arabella dropped some just major sauce that we wanted to be able to go back and rewatch. We've got all the recorded replays in here, and they make it simple where they actually label the videos. Like most of these right now, upcoming this week, are live trading calls. And so that means that on that call, it's pretty much what it says it is. They're going to be doing live trading with us. Forex, he's going to be trading Forex, but he's going to be going over the foreign exchange markets. Obviously, we got crypto down here. And as we go through here, we've got investments when it comes to like options and futures and things like that as well. So it's really tailored to what it is that we want to learn, but all about trading and having somebody else that's potentially a documented 6, 7, or 8-figure earner inside the financial markets that's already time and tested through trials and errors. And now they're in a position to be able to help us and educate us through so much more. So those are two really key parts that I really love, guys. But most importantly, I think the one thing that I love about this, and I want to go into two parts. I guess I love it all. I guess I love it all, first and foremost. But the next step that I want to talk about real quick is actually our investing side, because I think it's really important. This was something that I slacked on early on in my beginning years, was the fact that when I was making trading money and I was making daily to weekly withdrawals and things like that, it was like, what do I do with this money? Well, there's something that somebody else taught me quite a bit time ago, and it was called dollar cost averaging, right? And that was just taking a portion of my income that I was making, whether it came from a job or whether it was coming from my trading platform, and it was just buying an asset, right? If you drink Starbucks every day, why don't you own Starbucks stock, right? If you're messaging in the chat right now from an Apple phone, why don't you own Apple stock? Like that just makes sense to me. Like why don't I make money from the products that I'm already investing in, right? And so what they have though is sometimes that might not be the best investment. I'm not hating on Android, but I don't like green text, and I'm probably not going to buy Android stock, but maybe I should have. I don't know, right? It's a very biased opinion, and I'm not really going to make money off of biased opinions. So I would rather come to a professional that really puts me in a position to actually make money and understanding the stock market at the same time, right? And so that's where our investment platform comes from. And so early on, this is something that I wish that I had done earlier. Obviously, I've been doing it for a while now, but it was taking some of my trading profits. It was taking some of my, my job money that I was making and investing it every single week or every single, biweekly or monthly, depending on when you were getting paid. And it was just taking a portion out of my check and investing it. Well, they've created an investment platform for us to be able to come in and we can actually track our own investment portfolio, but we can also create a tracker. And so let's go to Expert Portfolio 2 here. Let's say, I'm on Robinhood and I've only got $200, right? I can say that I've got $200 in my account, and the positions that they're currently in right now, if you've seen over here on the right side with the yellow numbers, it told me that they've got 1.2% of this total account allocated into what is that, Bitfarms Ltd. And so what 1.2% of my account would look like, because I don't want to pull out a calculator, that would be $2.39, right? And this is something that I can set up kind of like in an alert style, because we do have an app. It is 2026. You can download that to your Apple App Store, or from your Apple App Store, or from your Google Play Store. And you can actually set this up to alert you when they make changes to this portfolio. So that way you can allocate the same positions on your own portfolio. Let's drop a 777 in the chat if that makes sense to you guys. I want to make sure you guys are following along. I know I'm speeding up on this, but time is money, friends, and I know everybody's got a busy night. Cool. So that's making sense. So that's one of the other things that I love. Now, the next best part that I think about this that really hones all this together is the AI system. Now let's drop whatever your favorite emoji in the chat if you guys have heard of Claude or ChatGPT or if you're using it on a daily basis. Ooh, okay. I like these. Everybody's looking for the weirdest emoji right now. Okay, okay. Cool. Me too. AI has put me in a position to where it almost dresses me in the morning, right? But the thing is with ChatGPT and Claude and things like that, those are large language models that have been trained to really just pull data from the internet. They haven't been built by traders for traders, right? And what's beautiful about what Go AI has done is because I've already educated you on the fact that we have educators on this live platform. We have strategies that you can go through and learn. We have the educational material that you can go through. Let's say that we were to take all of that information and we were able to build a large language model around that. So that way, when you come into this and instead of talking to your chat GPT and what Bobby down the road thinks about you, versus let's talk about trading and how do I build a risk to reward management plan or what is market structure or hey, generate me a signal. Wouldn't that be cool if somebody was able to do that? I think so. And so, really, for just a second, if you guys got just a few more minutes, I want to take you into our trade side of this. And so, on the trading side of this, this is one of the portfolios that I'm working with. Obviously, right here, I'm at a 66% win ratio off of just generating my own signals. Understand that I do a lot of opportunity calls like this, telling other people about the product. So I'm generating signals just randomly throughout the day. And to be able to do that just randomly throughout the day with no rhyme or reason, to have a 66% win ratio, that shows that I'm a profitable trader. And that's not even me. That's just me asking an AI, hey, generate me a signal. And I'm going to show you guys kind of some of these tools and how we're able to do that. And so right here, if I go to this trading AI powered trading copilot, right? Let's say right now, it's Asia session, which it is, and I want to take a gold scalp trade. All right. I would tell it that I'm a scalper, and I can even say, hey, how you doing? Or hey, like I keep bringing up market structure. Hey, what's market structure? Oh, and you can even spell wrong. Look at that. Let's see if it gives it right on the structure side here. Me spelling it wrong. Boom, I spelled it wrong. And what is market structure, right? So it's actually going to tell me, right, what market structure is. And so if I'm on, Preston's call, shout out to Preston, one of the top educators on the platform, my best friend, business partner, absolutely kills it, trades New York session every single morning. And he's talking about market structure and I'm on his call and I don't want to interrupt him because he's calling trades live for the community and I don't want to stop him from making anybody else's money because I'm not one to take from somebody else's table. I can actually come over to my trading copilot and I can ask what the heck is Preston talking about, and it's obviously going to be able to generate that for me. But now let's say Preston is I don't think he's ever missed a call in his life, but let's say for some reason he misses a call and it's Wednesday morning and I can't trade with Preston today, but I want to be able to take a trade and there's no live educators. I can actually come to this platform right here and I can say, let's generate a signal. And I can say, let's trade metal. I know metals are open right now. XAU USD. Guys, that's a ticker name for gold. Oh, let me spell right there. There we go. So gold. I can say that I have, let's say, how much money should I start this account with? Let's just be realistic. Let's say I have a $600 account. The market's open right now, so I'm actually able to generate a signal. So I'm going to select market. This is what a market execution would be. We're going to take this trade right now. And I can hit generate signal. And what it's going to do is it's going to pull from all the data that we've actually been able to put into this system, this large language model, and we've actually built around traders, and it's going to generate a signal. Not only is it going to generate a signal, it's going to tell me that based off my $600 account, my position size, so what I'm risking, so that way I'm not gambling, right? I'm actually making an educated decision when I enter this market. I'm setting myself up to where if I were to lose the trade, I'm not going to lose the whole account. I'm only going to lose just a little bit of money. It's going to tell me my risk to reward. This is a 1-to-1 or a 1 to 1.5 trade ratio. So that means that if I Risk 10, I'm going to make 10. Well, I'm going to make about $12, right? Don't hate me on my math goes. This is also going to tell me about my trend analysis, the high time frame, the medium time frame, and the lower time frame. This is a scalp trade, so I'm more worried about the lower time frame here. But now it's going to give me what I can say copy and paste. Now, who here has ever ordered a pizza from their phone? Drop a one in the chat if you've ordered a pizza from your phone. Come on, I should see some more ones in there. Yeah, pizza can be vegan too. Anyways, so if you've ever been able to actually order, never, whatever, Brandon, if you've actually ever ordered a pizza from your phone, it's literally that simple when it comes to actually entering a trade on your phone, because this actually just generated a buy. And I can literally pull up my trading app, like right here, if it loads up here. And mind you guys, right before I got on this call, I actually generated a signal on this, and I'm currently $18 in profit on this trade. Right before I started this call, I'm $18 in profit. Should I close it or should I keep this trade running? $17 in profit. Just keep it. Okay, I'm going to keep it. We're going to keep it until the end of the call, holding it, right? But I was able to go in and actually hit that on my phone. And while I'm talking to you guys for free on my own time, I've only been on this call for 28 minutes and I've made almost $17 if I were to close this trade right now. I think that's worth the hourly rate personally, because when I was a Comcast employee crawling through crawl spaces and things like that, I was freaking making about $17 an hour doing that. And I would way rather be on this call talking to you guys about something that's changed my life. And so this AI platform actually generates signals for us. Now, I know I've done a lot of talking towards every newcomer on the call, but do I have any actual Go AI members on this call? Yes, sir. Yes, 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 yes. Now, I don't usually do this, but is there anybody on this call that's a Go AI member, that's used one of these products that would actually like to come up and give a little bit of a testimonial? Do we got a Trinity? Is it Melody? Melody? Okay, I'm gonna shout out
Yes.
Melody. Melody, let's bring you up.
Hello, everyone. I'm Melody. Of course, I've, started trading 2 years ago, but reason why I started trading was because I work two jobs. I really don't have time, and I was so tired of surviving. Of course, my second job is just to have enough money for myself. And so after getting started to trading, my life changed a whole lot. I was able to see that I can flip 10 cents into hundreds to thousands of dollars, and that just was mind blowing to me. But one thing I do love about the Go AI, the system that Coach Cowden really shared was one thing I love is the AI system. Like, of course, when I'm busy at work, don't have time, I can just right when I literally just got off work right now, I can just hop on and use the AI system and just enter buttons and copy it. Like, and of course, that's one thing I love about this. And not only that, I for sure, I'm so grateful for this because was able to share this to my significant other. And yesterday, within 32 an hour, let me show you his results because he was able to make $600. And that's so crazy how just by copying numbers. So let me show you my screen, what I'm talking about, so you guys can see the results for yourself. Okay, so this was the number. Literally copy these numbers right here. And he flipped that and made $600 just like that within 30 to an hour, 30 minutes to an hour. So that's amazing. And then his win rate was 77% win rate. So that's one thing I love about our AI system. And so thank you, Coach Cowden, for, inviting me on tonight.
Of course, of course. Let's go. Drop some fire emojis in the chat for Melody. And also, I'm going to have to get with her partner because it looks like he has a better win ratio than I do using this system. So I think he might need to get up here and talk about how to use this, right? But guys, okay. So I know that obviously time is important and we don't have a lot of it, right? But we do want to be able to spend the best parts of our time. And so you guys are probably, asking yourself and one, probably thinking the person that, invited you to this call, but you're asking yourself, okay, Skylar,
One
get
more
to the
testimonial.
one more testimonial? Oh, okay. You want to do another testimonial? Let's do it. Who in here wants to do a testimonial? Trinity, let's go.
What up, guys? Chat's kind of quiet. Let's get hyped. Let's get hyped. So, big thing is for me, everybody that invited you to this call, thank them again. This is the one in a lifetime opportunity, guys. You guys don't get presented this often. I've been in this space for 4 months now, and I'm already hitting full-time income. So, I'm very, very lucky to be one of those people that hit full-time income. Not a lot of people can say that. Not a lot of people can be in my position, but enough of talking about me. How is everybody feeling tonight? I hope everybody's hyped. It's Monday. It's kind of a drag. But I just kind of wanted to show you guys how much I made this morning. Is that okay? Can I show you guys? So this is what I made this morning. At 11 o'clock, I withdrew profits. Almost $2,000 just this morning. Taking Preston's trades, taking Arabella's trades, the best educators on the platform. So thank you guys for letting me speak.
Jesus, $1,800, guys. I think that is a full-time income. What do you think? I mean, if you were able to make even just $1,000 a day, 5 days a week, that's $5,000 a week. I think my math, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that's like $20,000 a month, right? Now, obviously, past profits don't guarantee future results. Sometimes we do lose. We would just rather win more than we lose, and that's because of this platform, the educators that we've brought on and being able to put ourselves around. It puts us in a position to have win ratios just like that every single day. Now, obviously, guys, it's like, okay, but how much does it cost, Skylar? And we'll get to that part. I don't think, I'm not here to judge anybody or their income, but I do want to take you guys through some of the price points real quick. Let me get those pulled up. And let me share a screen so that you guys know what it is when you get back to the person that invited you to this call, what package that you're looking for. Now, every single one of these packages, and I want to point this out, is that our Go library, it's lifetime access. So it does not matter which platform which package you come in on, our Go library, lifetime access. So any type of upgrade or anything like that, or if a life event happens or something like that, and you weren't able to pay your monthly membership, you would be able to still log in and go through our educational library. You wouldn't have to get lost in the sauce on YouTube University or anything like that. You would just lose access to the benefits of like having our educators, the Go AI system, and so much more, right? So our very first package does start out at 349 one time, and then it rolls to a 169 a month membership. And really the difference between that package to this package is access to some of the strategies that you're going to actually be able to apply to your charts and learn for yourself and things like that. On top of, drop a one in the chat if you pay for ChatGPT or if you're using the free version. Because if you're using the free version, you can only use it so much before it tells you you got to wait till tomorrow, right? Obviously, because of a large language model and the data centers and things like that that we have out there, cost energy and production to be able to create those and generate those signals and for us to have lollygag moments with our chats, right? And so obviously the bigger the package that you pick, the more credits that you're going to have with your AI system. Plus you're going to have access to more indicators and different types of signals and library education, right? So obviously I'm not here to judge anybody's position on finances or anything like that. You are able to upgrade at any time, but those are the packages, those are the prices, guys. I can't complain. I know that right now you guys told me to hold the trade. I'm up another $3. I'm $20 on there in 30 minutes. I think that I've already this month, because past profits don't guarantee future results, guys, but on Friday the 14th I started an account while I was in Canada with $125. And now that account is currently sitting at $708 in profit. That's live money. It says live account right there. That's live money. I think it's already paid for itself. I see my wife in the chats right now. I know that for a fact. She started an account with $115 and she's creeping up behind the numbers on my account. I think she's probably roughly right around 600 right now. And those are two memberships already paid for. Plus, she can treat me to get my nails done later this week, right? But guys, that's it. That's all I have. Just make sure the most important part that you guys can do, other than dropping a thank you in the chat, is make sure that you get back to the person that invited you to this call, because they seen something in you and they knew that this was probably something for you. As long as you can create a plan A and stick to it, I think this is for you too, guys. So that's it. I'm out. Thanks for hopping on.